Hey everyone, SolarPrimal here. Oh boy, if you're a longtime follower of this channel, then you'll know, it's been a while. No surprise to anyone watching this video, I love Pokemon. Something else I am a huge fan of is Avatar: The Last Airbender, with the exception of a certain movie, which we won't speak of any further on. 5 Earthbenders to move a stone. Sorry. The Avatar series, a beloved franchise with things like books, video games, and even a TTRPG to continue the hype. Also, a live action series that isn't quite out yet, so I'll reserve my thoughts for that later. I figured I would attempt an old favorite challenge that I've never fully completed myself. Pokemon Avatar: The Last Airbender Challenge, or Avatar Mode for short. That is literally what is written on the DeviantArt post from Funnyman2416, who originally created this challenge. Now there have been updates to this to accommodate newer games, but for our purposes, we will be attempting this challenge through Pokemon HeartGold. Let's explain the rules. Bear with me, it is a lot. Choose one nation to be a part of. Only catch Pokemon that have a type assigned to your tribe through the chart. We'll go over that in just a moment. You are not the Avatar, deal with it. You may catch a Pokemon if it will gain a type assigned to your nation. The example given is an Earth Nation player can have a Torchic as long as it evolves eventually into a Combusken who gains a fighting type. If by evolving your Pokemon it becomes incompatible with your nation, you cannot use that Pokemon anymore. Normal type Pokemon can be caught by all, but if it has a secondary type, then it must be one assigned to your nation or it can't be used. And an example is Rattata can be used by all, but Pidgey can only be used by the Air Nation. In addition, I will be implementing some of the regular rules I place on my challenge videos. So, no items in battle, held items are allowed, and no glitches or exploits. And here's the chart I was referring to earlier. This is a decent spread of types to pick from. Either nation would make for a great challenge. You could even try this for yourself for various results. Surprising no one, I will be picking the Fire Nation. And with all that out of the way, let's get this challenge started. Look out, Johto region, the Fire Nation's about to attack. Let's do this. No need for a universal randomizer this time around. We simply pick Cyndaquil and nickname him Zuko. I know, very original. I did this in a few playthroughs of HeartGold, and it fits the theme even better this time around. This Zuko comes with a quirky nature. That is a neutral nature, just like your future self. As I will be running solo, I'll explain that in a moment. Let's discuss a few things I had to consider for this challenge. You may have noticed, while I was explaining the rules, at no point did I mention being allowed to catch other Pokemon with HMs. That means I had to consider catching Pokemon that could use HMs outside of battle. With the array of options at my disposal, this took some thought. So for the first 2 gyms and rival battle, we are going at it alone, like a true Zuko. As a side note, I will still maintain the no items in battle rule as per usual just to keep things interesting. Now, who might be our next team member? Well, it's none other than Dratini. That's right, you know what that means. For those that don't, it means playing Voltorb Flip for hours to collect enough coins in exchange for a Dratini. Sure, I could have waited for the one that is gifted to me later on, but this still was our next best option. Otherwise, we'd be still going solo until Olivine City. Surprisingly to me, I had a few good runs at this and managed to win enough coins in just under an hour. Yay me! With that, we attained our second team member, Dratini. That doesn't quite roll off the tongue for this challenge. Let's fix that. We give our new team member the nickname Fang, after Avatar Roku's dragon companion. Now I want to get a feel for Fang's moveset before diving into the next gym, and surprisingly, Dragon Rage completely demolishes these lower level battles. We're up against Whitney's infamous tanky team next though, so this should be interesting. Gym leader Whitney is up. We get a strong start with Fang's Dragon Rage, but Whitney's Clefairy throws me a curveball by using Mimic to learn Dragon Rage. We luckily stay ahead of the curve by keeping the pressure on Clefairy, taking a Dragon Rage, surviving at 5 HP before knocking out Whitney's first Pokemon. Not in the position I was expecting to be in. Her Milk Tank has a surprise for me too, as she outspeeds Fang and knocks him out with a rollout. I'm not bothered, I just have to get enough damage out before rollout destroys Zuko. The defense drop raises my confidence. Good thing we got that Shell Bell equipped. No Matter as a final Flame Wheel is able to knock out Milk Tank, ending the battle. I know I skipped over this before, but that is our first, second, and third gym badges done and dusted. Now let's try out our rival battle at Burn Tower. Ghastly goes down in a snap to Flame Wheel and we snag a level up. Switching the Fang to take on Krakuna, getting our set 40 damage in with Dragon Rage, but also our speed lowered with Scary Face. And I forgot this thing as Ice Fang. Whoops. We swap in Zuko, mispredicting another Ice Fang as we take a bite for free. And for some reason, our rival just spams Scary Face instead of using Water Gun. So I just repeat Quick Attack until it goes down. Zubat isn't too much trouble, though the multiple speed reductions does make this a crawl. But a crit Quick Attack finishes the job. And despite the paralysis, we knock out Magnemite in one shot, ending the battle. Now I'm gonna break the mold a bit and detour all the way down to Olivine City. We chat with the fishing guru to obtain the Good Rod, allowing us to cast our line for our next team member. Oh, never mind. Apparently we need Surf to continue here. Alright, wait, let me try something. I travel all the way back to New Bark Town, where there is a patch of water just east. This might work. Also, apparently Fang is slower than level 20 Magikarp. Yeah. Luckily, after a few tries, we landed a Pokemon and our next team member, Chinchou. But it is also an electric type, therefore we can have them on our team for this run. We nicknamed Chinchou Iroh. Listen, the list of Fire Nation Lightning Benders was slim. Iroh comes with a careful nature. Special attack is down and special defense is up. Not quite what I was hoping for, but we'll make it work. As well as the Luminate ability. The other option would have been Volt Absorb, but again, we'll make it work. So after a bit of wandering around, it is time to take on Gym Leader Morty. Let's do this. First up is Ghastly vs Iroh. Ghastly sets up Curse on us for an easy knockout with Surf. Switching in Zuko, it is Ace vs Ace. We dodge Hypnosis landing Flame Wheel. Zuko takes a Sucker Punch but keeps pushing for another Flame Wheel. Gengar then heals up eating a Citrus Berry. Shadow Ball hits hard, but it triggers Zuko's Blaze ability to boost Flame Wheel even more to land a knockout on Gengar. Haunter falls victim to our Thunder Wave, but still manages to land Hypnosis. Luckily, Fang's Shed Skin ability shrugs off the effect immediately. Quick Claw or not, Fang hits with Dragon Rage as Haunter goes for another Hypnosis again. But again, Shed Skin kicks in. Morty heals Haunter back up, leaving us in the same position after the next Dragon Rage, following another to knock out Haunter. Morty's second Haunter is up and uses Curse like Ghastly at the start of its battle. We go for Thunder Wave for safety, though a Dragon Rage would have ended things a turn sooner, but we obtain a final knockout and victory in the end. That's our fourth gym badge, done and dusted. Now, while we make our way towards the next gym, I might as well address something. Many of you, I'm sure, are already in the comments over this. We skipped an important possible team member, Eevee. With Eevee, we could have three options: Flareon, Jolteon, and Umbreon. For balance reasons, Umbreon would be a good choice. However, we don't want to discount the other two choices. But for now, Eevee will remain on the shelf of possibility until I deem it necessary to add them as our 6th. Oh yeah, I got the next 2 members figured out. On our way down to Cianwood City, Iroh evolves into a lantern. Nice. Also, while battling through trainers in Cianwood City, Fang evolves into a Dragonair. That's a big boost. Since we're here, let's take on the Cianwood City gym leader, Chuck. Our first go doesn't play out as well as I hoped though. We do manage the paralyzed Primate, but the stacked double teams cause us to miss the second Dragon Rage, allowing Focus Punch to connect. I now can see I should have pushed the 2 Dragon Rages before the double team setup. It's not all bad news with the Paralysis Assist. Say that 10 times fast. Getting us to land Flame Wheel to knock out Primate. I don't have much of an answer for Poliwrath though, so we attempt a cut but end up missing and getting put to sleep with Hypnosis. With nothing to oppose the incoming Focus Punch, Zuko goes down. Last up to bat is Iroh, who gets a lucky opener landing Spark and making Poliwrath paralyzed. Seeing as Spark barely scratched Poliwrath though, we try for stockpiles instead, hoping to tank Focus Punch, possibly healing ourselves later with Swallow. Hindsight, I should have kept laying into Spark, but I wanted to try something different, as I was worried about the damage threshold for Hyper Potion. Of course, we crit, so now I'm worried. We're chipped away at by Surf, and the paralysis halts our victory. We manage to land Spark next turn, but it doesn't impact that much. The paralysis helps, but we reach the part where I was worried about, and Poliwrath is healed back up with a Hyper Potion. The panic sets in as I make a terrible call and use Swallow to regain our HP as Focus Punch slams us down to 8 HP. I go for what I should have been doing from the start and try to spam Spark. But then, we're outsped and knocked out by Surf. And our second run was worse. So let's jump to the third attempt. I risk the biscuit by sending out Zuko against Primate using Flame Wheel, and we get the burn. Even though there been at least one double team setup already, we land the next Flame Wheel. This does get Primate into the threshold to be healed by Hyper Potion, but the burn remains, so we keep on with the Flame Wheel. Rock Slide is scary, but we hold strong through the earthbending, though we are flinched. Despite that, the next Flame Wheel hits and knocks out Primate. We stay in with Zuko going into Poliwrath again, but I know we're doomed, so I stick to the chip damage from Quick Attack to help with the rest of our team. Sadly, it doesn't last as long as we are hit with the Hypnosis Focus Punch combo yet again, knocking out Zuko. This time we got Fang in the rafters, so we go for Thunder Wave. Poliwrath attempts to return the favor with Body Slam, but we remain unfazed. Dragon Rage gets Poliwrath to eat their Citrus Berry and miss Focus Punch. Next Dragon Rage inches us closer to victory, but we're struck with Surf. It looks to be a close battle, but the final Dragon Rage gets us the knockout on Poliwrath, ending the battle. That's our 5th gym badge, done and dusted. We return to Olivine City to heal Amphi. We receive a call from Balba, I think that's how you say it, inviting us to the Safari Zone. I've been waiting for this phone call. It will lead us to our next 2 team members. However, I don't believe they would be too powerful for the upcoming gym battle. So, let's see how we do. Olivine City Gym Leader Jasmine is up. Zuko's Flame Wheel comes out strong, nearly knocking out Magnemite in one shot. But we do become paralyzed from Thunder Wave. Jasmine uses Hyper Potion as the paralysis locks us in place. So back to the top. Zuko dodges Supersonic and uses Flame Wheel like before. This time we add the burn to secure the knockout. Nice. Switching over to Iroh to blast Steelix with Surfs. Steelix barely puts up a fight as we easily take her down. Last is Jasmine's second Magnemite, and we entrust Zuko despite the paralysis. Zuko is confused by Supersonic, but still manages to land a Flame Wheel, knocking out Magnemite in one shot, ending the battle. See? Totally fine. That's our 6th gym badge, done and dusted. Now with that out of the way, let's go check out the Safari Zone for some new team members. First up is Murkrow, which proved to be a bit of a task to accomplish. Finding the right balance to either greater our chances or lessen it proved to be difficult. Though eventually we do succeed in catching our own Murkrow. We nickname Murkrow Lu-10.
Leaves from the vine, falling so slow, like fragile tiny shells drifting in the foam.
To those that know, no. Now that some of you are done waterbending from your eyes, let's take a look at Lu-10's stats. We get a careful nature, special defense is up, and special attack is down. Like father, like son, I suppose. And that's good enough for our purposes. As well as the super luck ability. So we get a higher chance to crit on moves. I'll see if I can remember that. Next is Kangaskhan. Now, I've never given myself an opportunity in all these years to have this Pokemon on my teams. I did consider Tauros as a potential member, but I can't deny these stats. Plus, seeing that little baby Kangaskhan looking up at their parent, it's just too cute. We nicknamed Kangaskhan Ursa. They come with a timid nature, speed is up and attack is down, as well as the scrappy ability, allowing all of our moves to hit ghosts. Technically normal moves, but it basically covers it all then. That would have came in handy a few gyms ago, but oh well. Truthfully, I could have taken more time to catch additional Kangaskhan's to get a potential better pull. But this challenge already has taken me ages to complete, so we'll take what we can get. And what better way to get them caught up to the team by helping us take down Team Rocket. So with a few more levels under our belt, let's take on Mahogany Gym leader, Price. Rhymes with ice. Spark nearly knocks out Seal, but also gives us the paralysis edge. Though Hail still gets set up. So let's clean this up as quick as we can. Surf is somehow avoided and Iroh takes a Mud Bomb which lowers his accuracy. I guess we missed Surf the first time? What's the worst that can happen? Surf does hit next turn with enough damage for Piloswine to use its Citrus Berry as we heal up a little bit with Shell Bell before taking another Mud Bomb. So can one more Surf do the trick? Not quite. And Iroh goes down to another Mud Bomb. You all know what's coming. Hyper Potion's used, so we get Zuko in to use Rock Smash, luckily lowering Piloswine's defense. This causes our Flame Wheel to pack more punch on Piloswine, getting it burned. We survive the oncoming Mud Bomb to witness Piloswine go down to burn damage. Zuko chips away at Dewgong as we take an Aurora Beam going down to red HP. Sadly, we don't get to see the Blaze boosted Flame Wheel in action, with Dewgong using Ice Shard for a quick knockout. Ursa chips away even more with Fake Out, then goes for Dizzy Punch, but Dewgong survives to use Rest. So it's like that. While Dewgong sleeps, it takes Dizzy Punches from Ursa and uses Sleep Talk on us. High risk move considering it can sometimes pick Rest while it's still asleep. Luckily, Dizzy Punch is able to get the job done. Not bad for Ursa's debut battle. That's our 7th gym badge, done and dusted. And as we battle through Team Rocket again, I came up with a crazy idea for getting TM13 Ice Beam to prep for what's ahead. You know what I meant by that too, right? Grinding through Voltorb Flip again. And I did it. Rocketing over to our next rival battle. A Bite is no match for our Spark. Well, sort of. We just need one more. But Golbat confuses Iroh, resulting in hitting himself. Golbat takes another nip at Iroh before getting knocked out by another Spark. I'm looking forward to that upgrade soon. Not being one to learn my lessons, we stick it out with Iroh taking Thrash before landing Spark and giving Feraligatr something to be shocked about. But the confusion rears its ugly head as we are knocked out by the next Thrash. Fang lays on a bit of Dragon Rages as Feraligatr's Thrashes comes to an end, and then the next Dragon Rage knocks it out. Sneasel lands a critical Feint attack, but that gets Zuko into Blaze territory, boosting Flame Wheel, dealing a devastating blow, knocking out Sneasel. Magnemite goes down in the same fashion. And Urza squares off against Haunter, We finally get to see her ability in action using Dizzy Punch to almost knock it out. So Haunter steals our thunder by knocking itself out, ending the battle. Jumping far into the future, we take on Blackthorn City gym leader, Clair. My initial strategy was to send out Iroh to soak up the Intimidate. However, this did hinder Spark with it being a physical move. Level 4 couldn't come soon enough. This gives us a rough start at an already daunting battle. I tried to predict the bite, but I am met with a Dragon Rage. Wanting to take advantage of the paralysis, Liu 10 uses Fly. But I kid you not, by some terrible luck, we miss our first 2 attempts. Third time's a charm, I guess? It's close, but no cigar as Liu 10 is wiped out by Dragon Pulse. Maybe Zuko can conquer the Water Spirit. Well, it takes a couple swifts, but they eventually chip away at Gyarados for the knockout. But then Kingdra enters the battlefield. Urza gets a bit of smokescreen before hitting with Strength, for not much damage. Hydro Pump gets Ursa down to yellow HP as Strength lowers Kingdra enough to trigger its Citrus Berry. Well, at least that's out of the way. And then another Hydro Pump washes away Ursa. Zuko is sent out, only to be knocked out immediately. The only team member left that can take a hit is Fang. But Kingdra's Dragon Pulse says otherwise, and Iroh doesn't have enough left in the tank to survive a final Hydro Pump. I suspected this wouldn't have gone as well on our first attempt with just how underleveled we are. Looks like we're gonna have to do some training. And after a few level ups, we try again. This time we send out Ursa to chip in a fake out before tagging in Iroh as he takes a couple Dragon Rages. But it is enough to allow us to hit with a full-powered Spark to knock out Gyarados in one shot. One of Clair's Dragonites is sent out. I can never tell them apart. Must be twins. Quickly applying paralysis onto Iroh, but not preventing us from hitting with Ice Beam for significant damage. Iroh muscles through Dragon Pulse to land a second Ice Beam to knock out Dragonair number 1. My thought process was to use Thunder Wave on Kingdra to at least slow it down a bit. But our opponent is faster and swiftly knocks out Fang with a single Dragon Pulse. Okay, plan B. Through our off-screen training, Ursa picked up a new move that I never knew she could learn. Outrage. That might be the edge we need. Hopefully Smokescreen doesn't make us choke. As we land our second Outrage, I regain hope. Let's see if we can land a third hit. But we missed! That would have been an amazing comeback. Sadly, since we missed the third Outrage, we get put into the Parafusion, and this is when things take a turn. Urza just couldn't get a hit in before eventually getting knocked out. Iroh comes in taking a Dragon Pulse, and the paralysis stops him in his tracks. Liu 10 takes to the sky and lands a solid hit with Fly. Sadly, upon his return, he is met with a paralysis of his own. This makes Liu 10 a flight risk, and he gets grounded for it. We at least got that first hit in before going down. It's up to Zuko using his new Lava Plume. Yes, it does more damage, trust me. Especially when we survive Aqua Tail at 6 HP. The paralysis really did a number on us, but the Blaze boosted Lava Plume was just enough to land us the victory. That was a close one. Now, before obtaining our final gym badge before the Pokemon League, I'm gonna do something out of left field here. This is either gonna make the run all the better or break me completely. Some of you are maybe wondering, why am I back at the Safari Zone? Others might realize what I am doing if they watch my Let's Play of Pokemon HeartGold. Either way, we will be picking up our 6th member. Sorry, Togepi. That does come with the task of training this new member from level 16 up to the godly level 55. How many more hints can I drop? Well, it's Larvitar. But Solar, you can't have a raw ground type Pokemon on your team. Wrong! Larvitar eventually evolves into the mighty rock dark type Tyranitar. But what better nickname to give us evil rock but Sozin? Sozin comes with a jolly nature. Alright. Speed is up and special attack is down. Let's go! As well as the Guts ability. Heck yeah! Is this due to poor planning on my part? Or was there a method to my madness? That's for you to decide. I'm sure many of you are typing away scoffing that I didn't include Magnemite on the team, and that's a fair judgment. But I did consider it for the team. But this is my challenge. Your results may vary. Also, Tyranitar can learn Whirlpool if that means anything. No need to double up on HMs. For now, I'll just catch Tauros and name it Ozai, just to get things moving. And after taking a quiz, we proved that we earned that 8th gym badge. Last one for Johto, done and dusted. And after speeding through some story plot later, next is our climb to the Pokemon League. We got a fairly rounded team. If it wasn't for the HM restriction, we'd have a lot more hard-hitting moves. And oh, sorry. I had to blow off this script after many on and off grinding sessions. Phrasing. We battle our rival on Victory Road. Let's just go with that. Now I know our team looks a little different, but I'll go over this later. We start things strong with Zuko taking a feint attack before landing a single lava plume to knock out Sneasel. Swapping the Iroh, our lightning bending master, shrugging off Feraligator's crunch to use Discharge. This paralyzes our foe, granting us an easy 2-hit KO. Zuko proves fire bending is superior to metal bending when it comes to knock out Magneton in one shot. Urza switches in to show off her Scrappy ability and uses Strength on Haunter to knock it out in one shot. Sozin makes their debut as Pupitar, saying, "What reflect?" and knocking out Kadabra with a Crunch. Now I could have just sent out Iroh on Golbat, but I want to have a bit more fun with this sweep. Fake Out lands, but Golbat's Inner Focus ability allows it to use Air Cutter. Next turn, Golbat uses Confuse Ray on us. This is a little worrisome for Ursa, and a reflected base Avalanche doesn't look too impressive either. Next turn, we're hit by Air Cutter, pushed through Confusion, nearly knocking out Golbat with a doubled Avalanche. So of course, the Karma Arceus comes a knockin' as we hit ourselves by Confusion. This was enough turns for Reflect to wear off, but oh well. The next Air Cutter hits, Urza snaps out Confusion and lands a final Avalanche for the victory on Victory Road. Let's have a look at our team. Leave a comment whether you think the Elite Four will be the walls of Ba Sing Se. I suspect they won't give us too much trouble. I am more concerned for the champion. Let's see how it goes. First up, Psychic user Will. Xatu draws first blood with Psychic as Iroh retaliates with Discharge, nearly knocking out our opponent. Xatu claps back with a me first, hitting us with our own Discharge right before we knock out Will's first Pokemon. Zuko is sent out to face Jinx, but takes a lovely kiss and falls asleep. Well, that didn't go as planned, as Jinx gets a free hit with Psychic. Not wanting to risk our boy, we swap in Lu 10 predicting the Psychic. But our lack of levels show as we are outsped by Jinx, going down to a crit Ice Punch. Ursa rides in with a Fake Out to flinch Jinx, followed up with a Strength for the knockout. We're in a tough spot as my check for Executor was Zuko, who is still asleep. We take the risk and pay the price. Iroh is sent out with Signal Beam, looking for that ×4 weakness, and it proves to be effective. However, not enough for the knockout as a Reflect is set up and Full Restore is used. But a couple more Signal Beams helps us dispatch Executor. Slowbro takes half HP and damage from Discharge as well as the Paralysis, allowing for our next Discharge to knock out Slowbro. Last is Will's second Xatu, who is faster, landing Confuse Ray on Iroh, effectively preventing our first attack. Iroh tanks the next Psychic, but still hits itself in Confusion. Another Psychic knocks out Iroh. Urza squeaks in a Fake Out upon arrival, Knowing that Xatu will strike first regardless, we take a Psychic to follow up with Avalanche, securing our victory against the first Elite Four member. After a quick heal up, we face Poison type user Koga. Zuko burns away Koga's Ariados to get things started. Fortress wisely uses Protect to delay the inevitable, as the next Lava Plume gets the job done. For Muck, I didn't have a solid plan. Just going on blind hope that at least getting Muck paralyzed would edge our chances, because that gunk shot is nasty. Now I thought I was being clever using Sandstorm, rip level 47 Pupitar, but Muck's Black Sludge effectively negates this damage every turn. Sozin uses Rock Slide hoping for a flinch, but Muck just uses Minimize. That would become a problem if I don't deal with this Muck quickly. We go all out with Thrash, allowing us 2 free hits thanks to Paralysis, as the confusion sets in. And unfortunately, we flew too close to the sun and triggered Koga's full restore, as we failed to hit it due to confusion. We use Sandstorm again, but it feels kind of mute at this point as Minimizes continue stacking more. We chip in more crunch damage as we see more Minimize. Finally, Koga's strategy starts catching ground as we miss the next crunch.
Haha, I'm in danger.
With Muck now set to kill, we send in Zuko to use Swift to guarantee a hit. But that gunk shot is too much. Urza is sent out and lands a crit fake out. We just gotta land one more hit. And we miss. Then Gunk Shot hits, dealing massive damage to Ursa as well as poisoning in the process. Missing the next strength, Urza is knocked out by the second Gunk Shot. Against my better judgment, we send out Iroh to use Surf, but it's not enough. Gunk Shot hits once more, getting us poisoned again. This time, Surf misses and Muck uses another Minimize. As we go into red HP, Muck creeps into yellow. We land our next Surf, finally knocking out Muck. Sozin is sent back out to face Crobat. Sozin muscles through Wing Attack as Rock Slide hits, dealing a ton of damage. Their Citrus Berry is triggered, but I'm hopeful Rock Slide's still able to get the job done. Another Wing Attack and Rock Slide later. Crobat lives with a sliver of HP. I start to sweat as they use Double Team. But our next Rock Slide still hits for the knockout. Lu-10 squares off with Koga's final Pokemon, Venomoth. We're just slow enough to take a Supersonic before departing to the skies. Will we land fly? Not this turn. Venomoth uses Gust on a flying type. Yep. And we use Wing Attack as we snap out Confusion. Koga oofs himself as Gust isn't enough for our next Wing Attack to knock out Venomoth, ending the battle. Whew, close one. Now, we face Elite Four, Bruno. Lu-10 takes flight, avoiding Hitmontop's counter. Fly deals a lot of damage, but the counter was awaiting us. It's okay, as Iroh's second son finishes off Hitmontop with Lava Plume. I'm gonna pay for that joke later. Onyx sets up Sandstorm before taking the full blast of Iroh's Surf. Iroh uses Surf again against Machamp and... oh, Cross Chop is used, taking a huge amount of our HP. We try for Discharge, hoping for some paralysis, but only gain a Citrus Berry as another Cross Chop knocks out Iroh. Fang is sent out to secure the paralysis this time. We go for Waterfall for a possible flinch, but we'll take paralysis instead. Dragon Rush could also get it done, but it is not enough as Machamp survives and uses Cross Chop to crit knockout Fang. Ugh. We were so close, but now the full restore is used. Best we can do is lay on Lava Plumes. Luckily, the second one burns Machamp. This allows Zuko to shrug off the Rock Slide thanks to Burn, and lands a third Lava Plume to knock out Machamp. Despite that brief victory, Hitmonlee lands a high jump kick to finish off Zuko. Ursa comes in landing Fake Out, then follows up with Strength for a quick knockout. Fake Out with Silk Scarf on a normal type Pokemon is so good. Lastly is Hitmonchan, who takes a strength before hitting a crit Thunder Punch. Urza then easily is able to finish off the battle with one more strength. The battles are showing some wear and tear on the team. I'm getting worried we might not have enough to make it to Lance. And now, Dark-type user Karen. Iroh uses Signal Beam on Umbreon, connecting a confusion status, but they still manage to use Double Team. We switch to Discharge for Paralysis. Hindsight, not a good plan, but Umbreon still hits with Feint Attack. Next Discharge gets the Paralysis, but in turn also paralyzes us due to Umbreon's Synchronize ability. Oops! But at least we're still 1 up on the Parafusion. But then we miss Discharge. Karen switches out to Vileplume, who easily takes the next Discharge. Vileplume uses Petal Dance, which is super effective, and the paralysis bites back. Then a second Petal Dance knocks out Iroh. Luckily, Zuko is able to knock out Vileplume in one shot. Gengar spites our Lava Plume, but doesn't stop the incoming damage as well as the burn. Karen then switches to Houndoom, predicting our Lava Plume. Clever girl. Houndoom uses Nasty Plot, and I start to panic. That usually signifies the end of the end. We chip in for a bit of damage and pray. But then Houndoom proceeds to wipe out the rest of our team one by one. Poor Lu-10. As suspected, with our levels falling behind, it finally paid its toll. We're gonna need to go back to the grind. A few more levels under our belt and we try again. Same as before, we Signal Beam spam Umbreon. This time, we full commit. Though the confuse rate doesn't help, but it kinda does reduce the damage from payback, I guess? Thanks? We hit ourselves again before taking a crit Feint Attack. We snap out Confusion and then miss Signal Beam, taking a hit from payback and living with 6 HP. Iroh fires off one more Signal Beam before going down. Zuko arrives but misses Flamethrower. Yes, he upgraded. Then takes a Feint Attack. We go for Swift instead, but it has less impact. Getting confused doesn't help either. Karen then full restores, but we at least land Flamethrower this time. Karen then switches in Houndoom again. Fool me once. Ah shit, here we go again. This time, Rock Smash does lower Houndoom's defense, but that Flamethrower is just too strong. Sozin tries to capitalize on this, but is knocked out by Dark Pulse. Same goes for Fang on a crit Dark Pulse. Things aren't looking good. But that bit of damage and stat drop from earlier did help with Ursa's Fake Out, allowing Strength to finish off Houndoom. Gengar hits with Focus Blast, but Lu-10 hangs on with 2 HP. This helps us land damage on Gengar with Feint Attack. Solid effort from Lu-10, as he is licked to death. Gross. Urza's Fake Out is able to bring Gengar to red HP, and by some luck, we are hit with Spite, allowing Ursa to use Strength to knock out Gengar. Vileplume misses Stun Spore and takes an Avalanche. Urza goes for Strength as it crits to knock out Vileplume. Murkrow uses Pluck, which causes our next Avalanche to double in damage for a quick knockout. The returning Umbreon is met with an onslaught of Outrage from Urza. Confuse Rate does land, but Urza is in the RNG Arceus favor today as the next Outrage lands. But Umbreon stands with a sliver of HP. Karen, with the full restore, and Confusion takes hold on this turn. We're in a deadlock as Confusion wears off, with Urza and Umbreon going back and forth with Strength and Feint Attacks. Things are down to the wire, but a final Strength manages to knock out Umbreon. Urza putting in the work gets us the victory. Good thing I can heal outside of battle, because Champion Lance is up. Gyarados hits with Waterfall as our Discharge lands solid damage. An attempted Flail doesn't help its situation as the next Discharge knocks out Gyarados. And aside from his Gyarados, Lance absolutely destroys our team. We are just 2 behind on levels to even stand a chance. His level 50 Dragonite dominates us. Okay, back to level grinding. After another loss, I went back to level grinding, but I also had thoughts on changing up our strategy a little. One of those things being checking Zuko's hidden power typing. I didn't pick Iroh for this as I felt he had enough coverage. So we deal normal damage to Drowsy, normal damage to Metapod, super effective damage to Geodude, and super effective damage to Sunkern, making Zuko's hidden power Ice. It's like Katara teaming up with us to face the mad Fire Lord Azula. It's too perfect. And before you ask, I switched up some of the held items too. Zuko will now hold the choice specs instead of charcoal. Will it be enough to secure our seat as champion? Let's find out. Next attempt. Things play out the same with Gyarados vs Iroh, but this time, we crit on the first discharge for a one-hit KO. The moment of truth. Zuko vs Lance's level 50 Dragonite. Hidden Power Ice hits, and Dragonite barely survives, landing in red HP. This triggers their Citrus Berry as they go for Safeguard instead of attacking. Interesting choice. This gives us a second chance with Hidden Power to knock out Dragonite. Fang avoids Aerodactyl's Rock Slide and hits with Waterfall, getting them down to half HP. The next Rock Slide hits, but Fang holds strong as his next Waterfall knocks out Aerodactyl. Fang attempts to use Dragon Rush on the next Dragonite, but is outdone and knocked out. Iroh becomes paralyzed from Thunder Wave, but still hits with Ice Beam for a ton of damage. Dragon Rush connects for a big hit on Iroh, before using Ice Beam again for the knockout. Putting my trust into Zuko with being faster than Dragonite, he lands Hidden Power on Lance's third Dragonite, knocking it out in one shot. Last is Charizard, who is hit with Fake Out right away from Urza, followed by our usual Strength. And luck is on our side once again, as Charizard misses Air Slash, allowing our next Strength to hit and knock out Charizard, crowning us the champion. Woo! We did it! We beat Pokemon HeartGold, the Avatar Last Airbender Challenge. Fire Nation Edition. Oh yeah. Let's take a moment to bask in our victory here. I love doing these challenges. They put me into situations where I'm having to utilize strategies and Pokemon I never thought I'd use. Some familiar, of course, but it shows the vast scope of possibilities with Pokemon. But we're not done yet. We still have one more official challenge ahead before we close off this chapter. And to those likely complaining in the comments, here is Sozin evolving into a Tyranitar, making him a Rock and Dark type, fulfilling his role in the Fire Nation. Also, we caught a Snorlax and Kanto, but mostly for the leftovers. After weeks of level grinding, we take on Pokemon Trainer Red. We send out Sozin first to clear up the snowstorm to whip up a sandstorm of our own. Surprising no one, Pikachu is faster, landing Iron Tail with massive damage. Luckily, we respond with Earthquake that swiftly knocks out Pikachu in one shot. Familiar. Swapping in Iroh to face Blastoise, our opponent misses Focus Blast, allowing us to hit with Discharge. Oof, that's a tanky mon though. But our Sandstorm is still a thing, so that helps. Red switches to Venusaur to soak up Discharge. I forgot they can do that. We stay in, taking a Giga Drain before hitting with Ice Beam, which does about the same as Discharge on Blastoise. These are some tough customers. Well, if Red could switch, so can I, as Zuko easily handles the next Giga Drain. Zuko then strikes back with Flamethrower to nearly knock out Venusaur as they respond with Sludge Bomb. But Zuko manages to outlast Venusaur through the damage and the Sandstorm. Urza sets up the square off against Blastoise, starting things off with Fake Out for an early flinch, and the Sandstorm chips away at both sides. Urza then hits with Strength, getting Blastoise to low HP, but then is struck by Hydro Cannon, and that is just too much for Urza to handle. Iroh sent back out to finish the job. But then I misclicked Surf instead of Discharge. Blastoise was a sitting turtle thanks to Hydro Cannon, but Surf wasn't enough to knock it out. I needed that advantage of Discharge. But on the following turn, Red full restores Blastoise, bringing us back to square one. And then the following turn, Focus Blast hits this time for the knockout on Iroh. Lu-10 is sent out, but quickly goes down to Blizzard despite the odds being very low. Oof. That couldn't possibly happen twice in a row, right? Well, it does with Fang getting knocked out in one shot. Sozin comes out, but then is taken out with Focus Blast as well. We're left with a blazed up Zuko, who is also knocked out with Focus Blast. That misclick was devastating. Okay, let's try again after a quick level top up. Sozin lives with a bit more HP this time before knocking out Pikachu. Urza is sent out to fake out on the Blastoise, following up with Strength. Blastoise just has incredible luck with Focus Blast though, but Urza survives on red HP. We swap in Iroh and hope, and Blastoise misses Focus Blast. The next one does hit, but Iroh can take it as he lands Discharge and adds Paralysis into the mix. Though with Blastoise sitting where it's at, I know Red is going to be using that full restore. My predictions are correct, but we try for Discharge regardless. Not only do we crit, but the Paralysis also makes a return. The Sandstorm helps line up our shot for another Discharge, but Red pulls the old switcheroo and brings out Venusaur just like last time. We swap in the Fang hoping to resist Giga Drain, but we are met with a Sludge Bomb instead. We go for Wing Attack but find out the hard way that Venusaur is faster as they use another Sludge Bomb to knock out Fang from the battle. Zuko is sent out and lets out a furious Flamethrower to knock out Venusaur. Iroh and Blastoise both return to finish their business, but the Discharge is a mere pixel shy from knocking out Blastoise. Luckily, Focus Blast misses and Sandstorm is still kicking. A limping Urza faces Snorlax next. Fake Out does its job as Urza creeps down to 9 HP. Urza pulls off a final strength on Snorlax before going down to Crunch. The Sandstorm continues to chip away in Urza's place. Zuko lands Flamethrower, dealing decent damage before taking Crunch. Our defense is lowered, but we're not too worried, as the next Flamethrower is able to soften up Snorlax, but another Crunch is able to knock out Zuko. The Sandstorm still putting in the work. Red goes to full restore Snorlax, and I misclick again. This time with Lu-10 and Nightshade, wasting our opportunity like that. Lu-10 then uses Fly to avoid Blizzard, but it doesn't stop the Sandstorm damage on us. But Fly does hit with a crit. Sadly, Blizzard does land this time, turning Lu-10 ice cold. Iroh is sent out for revenge, hitting with Discharge and paralyzing Snorlax. Iroh is hit by Crunch, but survives the attack. The following Discharge doesn't make as much impact as Snorlax uses Shadow Ball to knock out Iroh. The Sandstorm still helping us edge off that burn. Our last Pokemon, Sozin, is sent out. Our Crunch easily knocks out Snorlax with its silver of HP. Now Red has 2 more Pokemon awaiting in the rafters. Sozin hits with Rock Slide but is unable to knock out Lapras in one shot. But we do get the flinch! And with Sandstorm adding to the damage, the next Rock Slide has no issue knocking out Lapras. Lastly, it's Charizard, who hits with Flare Blitz right at the get-go to bring Sozin down to 12 HP. Charizard takes a bit of recoil damage before Sozin's Rock Slide slams Charizard with a crit, knocking it out in one hit, ending the battle, leaving us victorious in this challenge. Oh boy, Sozin doesn't mess around. Though, I did suspect that to be the case considering one of my previous challenges in HeartGold with only one Larvitar. Go check it out. And with that, we have completed the Avatar Challenge in Pokemon HeartGold. Thank you all for watching and supporting the channel while I've been away. I look forward to our next challenge. Can I beat Pokemon Fire Red with only one Mew? Leave your comments down below on future ideas for future challenges. But until then, you guys, this is SolarPrimal signing out, restoring balance, and bye for now.